All right, thanks, guys. Hey, check this out. We went 4-2 yesterday on our premium selections on patreon.com/Brock Page. That's actually going to improve our record to 62% in our last 26 board member package plays. We're also hitting at 60% in our last 15 college basketball package plays on that site. Link for that site is in the description section below. You may want to think about checking that out. That is patreon.com/Brock Page. All right, we got ourselves a kind of a smaller, modified slate of NBA action. So let's go ahead and get into it. Beginning with the Sixers taking on the Celtics, 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off at the Garden in Boston. The Celtics are the 1.5-point favorite, total at 210. We saw a 0.5-point fade of Boston and movement downward on the total. The Celtics open as the 2-point favorite, down to -1.5. Total open 213, down to 210. 67% of the consensus are leaning toward Boston, 74% shaded toward the over. And right now, the Sixers are plus 105 on the money line. Now, the Sixers kind of struggling against the spread as of late. They failed to cover in 6 out of their last 9 games. They're also just 4-8 against the spread when traveling. Now, Boston, on the other side, 6-2 straight up in their last 8. They also covered 70% of their games in their last 10. Boston still undefeated at home this year. I know that Philadelphia is undefeated at home, but problem for them, they're not at home. They're at the Garden, where once again Boston is 10-0 straight up at home this year. Kemba Walker's averaging 23 points a game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Jason Tatum, 21 points a game, 7 rebounds, 2 steals. This Boston squad is 8-2 against the spread at the Garden. They rank in the top 10 in home scoring, top 10 in home defensive rebounding. Now, 3 out of Boston's last 4 games did stay under the total. They're also 60% to the under at home. Meanwhile, Philadelphia, on the other side, they are 80% to the under in their last 10 themselves. 16-9 to the under overall for the year. I'm going to purchase the 0.5 point, slide it down, and lean Boston -1 and the under 210 in that game. Next matchup, it is going to be Cavaliers taking on the Spurs, 8:30 Eastern tip-off in San Antonio. Believe it or not, the Spurs are the 10-point favorite in this one, total at 219.5. We did see a 0.5 point fade of San Antonio and movement upward on the total. The Spurs opens 10.5 down to -10. Total open 218.5 up to 219 and a hook. LaMarcus Aldridge is listed as out for the Spurs. San Antonio, amongst the worst covering teams in the association. They've played 23 games thus far in the year. They've successfully covered the number in just 6 of them. Once again, San Antonio just 6-17 against the spread overall for the year. They failed to cover in 10 out of their 13 home games. They rank in the bottom 5 in points allowed, bottom 5 in home defensive rebounding. Now, the Cavs, on the other side, they actually rank in the top 10 in defensive rebounding. Colin Sexton is averaging 17 points a game, 3 rebounds. And Tristan Thompson, 14 points a game, 10 rebounds for him. Nice to see Thompson averaging double digits in the rebound category. Now, 6 out of Cleveland's last 9 games did stay under the total. Meanwhile, San Antonio's 6-2 to the under in their last 8 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the road dog in this one. Give me Cleveland +10. And the under 219.5 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Thursday's NBA action. Happy Thursday to you. The weekend is pretty much here. Some of you may want to pretend to be maybe sick tomorrow. Maybe come up with the sniffles. Give yourself a 3-day weekend. But anyway, the weekend is right around the corner. It's pretty much here. Happy Thursday to you. Now, before we go ahead and dive into some more action here on YouTube, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/Brock Page, where once again, guys, we went 4-2 yesterday in our premium selections on that website. That's good for 62% in our last 26 board member package plays. We're also hitting at 60% in our last 15 college basketball package plays on that site. We do daily premium selections on that website beginning at just $1.99 per month. And I know what you're probably thinking. You're like, well, why would I pay for your Patreon page when I can get it for free right here on YouTube? Well, I'll explain to you the difference between what we do here on YouTube and that Patreon page at the end of the program here today. So anyway, if you want to check out my current Patreon record, you can do that right now for free. It's right on the homepage. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and get into some more free lines of personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Mavericks taking on the Pistons, 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Detroit. The Mavs are the 5-point favorite on the road, total at 220.5. We saw a 1-point move toward Dallas and movement downward on the total. The Mavs open -4 up to -5. Total open 221.5 down to 220 and a hook. 69% are leaning Dallas, 51% shaded toward the over. Right now the Pistons are plus $1.90 on the money line. The Pistons not so good against the spread this year. They played 24 games total, and they've successfully covered the number in just 10 of them. They rank in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 10 in offensive rebounding. They're just 10 and 14 straight up on the year, and they are 11.5 games back for the division lead. A couple more things to add about Detroit. They rank in the bottom 10 in defensive field goal percentage, bottom 5 in home offensive rebounding. Now Dallas on the other side, they're starting to heat up a little bit here. 8-2 straight up in their last 10. They also covered 80% of those games. So 8-2 against the spread in those 10. They are 16-7 overall for the year. First place in the Southwest Division. Luka Doncic, 30 points a game, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, nearly averaging a triple-double. He is averaging a double-double. Once again, Luka Doncic, 30 points a game, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Of course, Kristaps Porzingis, 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks for him. Now, this Dallas team is winning 80% of their games on the road this year. They're 12-4 straight up when favored. They rank in the top 3 in scoring, top 5 in offensive rebounding, and they rank in the top 10 in defensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, Dallas is 70% to the over when traveling. Detroit on the other side, 4-2 to the over in their last 6. I'm going to lean toward the Mavericks on the road in this spot here. Give me Dallas -5 and the over 220.5 in that game. And of course, I'm going to slide in my next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Portland taking on Denver, 10:30 Eastern tip-off in the Mile High City. The Nuggets are the 6-point favorite, total at 213.5. We saw a 0.5 point move toward Denver and movement downward on the total. The Nuggets open 5.5 up to -6. Total open 214 down to 213 and a hook. Denver, pretty good at home. It's been the case over the past couple of seasons. They're 8-3 straight up at home this year. They rank in the top 10 in home rebounding, top 5 in home points allowed. Now, Jamal Murray's averaging 17 points a game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Keep an eye on him as he is listed as questionable for tonight's action. I think it's hopeful that he will play, but just keep an eye on him. Now, Nikola Jokic, he's having a hell of a year as well. 16 points he's averaging per game, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. He's a game changer for sure, and he is healthy. You should see him in action tonight. Denver, top 10 in defensive field goal percentage at home, and they are in first place in the Northwest Division. Like I said earlier, Jamal Murray is listed as questionable. Paul Millsap is listed as questionable as well for Denver. So if you're thinking about firing on this game, just keep an eye on these guys. You may not want to fire now. You may want to think about it. Now, with these guys as potentially questionable, you could see this game go off the board, or you could see a little bit of a fade of Denver. So I would just hold off. I wouldn't fire early here. I think you have a pretty good shot at either catching a better number or just obtaining more information about this game. So I'd probably hold off a little bit, but that's just me. Now, Portland on the other side, they failed to cover in 4 out of their last 6. They're also struggling on the road this year, just 5-9 straight up away from home. They've also won just 2 out of their last 11 games when they were the official Vegas underdogs. So really struggling as the dog as well. When they're catching plus money, they are not cashing. They also rank in the bottom 10 in points allowed, bottom 3 in defensive rebounding. And one more thing to add about Portland, they rank in the bottom 10 in points allowed on the road. Now, total-wise, the Blazers are 8-6 to the under when traveling. They're also 6-3 to the under in their last 9. Meanwhile, Denver on the other side, 80% to the under in their last 10 themselves. They're also 8-3 to the under at home. I'm going to lean toward Denver -6 in the under 213.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our quick pick recap. Brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. Where once again, guys, we went 4-2 yesterday in our premium selections on that website. That's going to put us at 62% in our last 26 board member package plays. We're also hitting at 60% in our last 15 college basketball plays. I like Denver -6 under 213.5. Dallas -5 over 220 and a hook. Cleveland +10 under 219.5. And last but certainly not least, I like Boston -1 and the under 210 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. Shout out to Davina Goodman, Billy Boogaloo, Shang Sanity, PMC05, Gio Lopez, B. Rocco. Shout out to Easy Money, Major Tom, Zora Plays, Darius Allen, Evil Dax, WME, Little Bro. Shout out to Limeval Dwayne, Simival Dwayne. I think it's all spelled backwards. I think it's supposed to say Love Mick Dwayne. But anyway, Limeval Dwayne or Simival Dwayne, whatever that says. Shout out to Martin Dean, Chabaku Tensei, Shaquille 1154. Shout out to Overton Span, Dom Hughes, Square 707. Shout out to P Lav, Maverick Monroe. And last but certainly not least, shout out to the Gambling Junkie. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again, we went 4-2 in our premium selections on that website yesterday. It's going to put us at 62% in our last 26 board member package plays. We're also hitting at 60% in our last 15 college basketball package plays on that site. And like I said earlier, you're probably thinking, well, why would I buy your Patreon packages where you literally just handicapped the entire slate of NBA games for free? I can just pick and choose there. Well, that's a great thought. That's a great question. But here's the deal. What I do here on YouTube is I handicap every single game on the board, aside in the total. I don't take free passes. I don't say take the dog or pass, or I don't handicap a game for 5 minutes and then tell you it's a stay-away game. We formulate an opinion on every single game, side and total. Now, if you were to bet your hard-earned money on every single game, side and total, in real life, you're guaranteed to lose your money in the long run. And as a matter of fact, you're probably going to end up losing in the short run as well. The math is heavily against you. The books are too smart. They're too sharp. Don't try to go at it with the books, handicapping every single game. They're going to pound you. They're going to beat you every time. So what we do on Patreon is we really narrow it down and focus in on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're high percentage selections. They're games that I personally have action on. And you can take a look at it, guys. My current record on Patreon is a whole lot better than it is handicapping every single game on YouTube side in total. Now, my current record is available to you right now. It's for free. You can locate it right on the homepage. For the most part, everything is positive. It's in the black. There's a couple packages that recently are not in the black. It is what it is. Whether I'm winning games or losing games, I'm going to let you know. So anyway, you can check out that current record for free right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, guys, now's the point in the show where I show off my Spanish abilities or lack thereof. So anyway, I call it my Spanish edition, also known as Edición en Español. Yo tengo Denver -6 y los bajos, Dallas -5 y las altas, Cleveland con puntos y los bajos, y finale Boston -1 y los bajos. All right, guys, once again, don't forget to check me out on Patreon, but most importantly, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you on patreon.com/BrockPage.